Hey guys, Kronos here. Welcome to my review of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Today, we'll be digging into this classic game to see if it still holds its own against the modern market, as well as providing some insight for those who might not have played this gem of an RPG. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Our story begins at the tail end of a normal Mario adventure. Bowser has kidnapped the princess, and Mario is naturally storming the castle to rescue her as usual. Par for the course, until a giant sword falls from the sky, scattering 7 stars across the known kingdoms. This is the event that sets off the plot for Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. You travel the world as everyone's favorite plumber Mario, joined by familiar faces and a couple of new ones, in order to collect the scattered stars and restore wishing to the land. Just not Luigi. Never Luigi. That was 2001. Along the way, you encounter the nefarious Smithy Gang, whom Mario and party must defeat to bring peace back to the world. The music in Mario RPG made it feel like, well, a Mario game, featuring many iconic arrangements of the old music by Koji Kondo. Each piece of music is well crafted for the areas, however, most of the songs, while good, never really pop. That is not to say the music is bad, far from it. It is just when you have tracks like the few I'm about to mention, the rest of them just seem less interesting since these tracks are pure amazing. Regardless, Yoko Shimomura's score is highly regarded overall and is considered by her to be a major turning point in her career as a composer. With that said, the tracks that are in a level all their own in my opinion are as follows. Beware the Forest's Mushrooms. And My Name's Booster. Barrel Volcano. Fight Against Smithy. The most basic explanation of Super Mario RPG is it's a platforming game with classic turn-based RPG combat. If you've ever played any of the Mario RPG games on handhelds that came after, or Paper Mario, it's not too different. The platforming mostly works, but a lot of the harder areas in the game actually involve trying to jump in the 3D space and require you to try and guess where Mario is going to land. This is easily the worst thing about this game, since it can get pretty frustrating, even to the point where I ended up walking away from some items because it was just not worth the time. When just being used to get around, however, the movement absolutely works for what it needs to do, so you can't really fault it that much. If this game were to ever get a remake, I would hope that Mario's controls can be improved, in addition to making it a bit more clear where he will land after executing the jumps. The battles use a timing system, much like later games, where you have to press the attack button at the right time. You're rewarded for good timing with extra damage and reduced damage while dealing or taking damage respectively. Getting used to this ultimately led to me doing that for every game I played after this as a kid, so, thanks Mario. The same goes for the game's special moves, but with these they actually give you easy to understand instructions on what you need to do to enhance the attack. Hold Y, press A a lot, rotate the D-pad, etc. This works really well and keeps you consistently engaged in combat since you need to be on your toes to block the incoming damage. With that said, the motions themselves are a lot easier than I remember them being. As an adult, it's fairly easy for me to get the maximum amount of damage from the given attack. Mario RPG was hard as a kid, and could probably be considered moderately difficult RPG for beginners to the genre. Certainly more difficult than other RPGs in the same era, like Pokemon or Dragon Quest, but perhaps a step down in difficulty from Square's contemporary work on Final Fantasy. Personally, I have rather vivid memories of being destroyed by some of the bosses and trying to think my way around them, trying to swap party members to find the right balance for each boss, in addition to which skills I would need to use in order to beat them. However, with this playthrough of the game, I really can't help but wonder what I was doing wrong back then. As long as you use the timing system properly to increase your damage and mitigate incoming attacks, you're pretty golden. You really don't even need the specials unless you want to end battles rather quickly. Default attack and defense work well for most all of the bosses and fights in the game. Not much else is actually required to win. After you get Princess Peach in your party, enemies will start doing a lot more AoE attacks and they will end you if you don't heal. But she has a party-wide heal that just about restores everyone to max HP. So as long as you use that, again, you're pretty much golden. And since you are stuck with Mario in the party and really should keep Peach in for the team healing, you really only have one open spot to play with. And there are 3 characters to choose from, but, whoever should you choose? With that said, this game does have some hard bosses, namely Jinx and Kulix, but both are only really hard if you challenge them at a lower level. Once you max your characters, both are just kind of long normal fights that fail to provide sufficient challenge. The leveling system in this game is just like any RPG. Gain enough experience, stats go up, maybe learn a new spell here and there. However, Mario RPG added player customization to the mix with a system where, with each level earned, you get to select an extra stat bonus, choices like more physical power, magical power, or HP. This gives you just the right amount of customization so that each character feels like they grow how you personally want to play the game. You can even take a character, like Malo, who's normally just a magic user, and just throw all his levels into power. That way you can end up not using him anyway, cause Gino. The maximum level being 30 should give you just enough time to plan how you want to distribute your stats, but you can definitely beat the game around 19 to 20, so it's not that pressing of a concern, unless you really enjoy that sort of gameplay customization. Overall, the leveling system was a breath of fresh air for its time. This is a game that was certainly very forward-thinking in some areas. Most of the mini-games and the secret areas can all be done before you beat the game, so there's really no post-game here to speak of. The optional boss, Kulix, is about as close to post-game content as you will get, as he is much harder than the game's actual final boss, but you have to access him beforehand. Of course, once you beat him, Smithy will fail to hold a candle to the power your party will possess. It's important to keep in mind that the concept of post-game was not common at this point in time. Any additional content after the game ended at all was fantastic. The ending screen of the game has no out. You were kind of just intended to be done. You either reset the game or turned off the console in order to get out of it because they really didn't think you would need that. The game is over, right? Turn it off and go outside. Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars was, and still is, a fantastic game. Playing through it now, it mostly still holds up as a fun game to play. As someone who has played countless RPGs at this point, I do miss modern options that are now virtually staples like difficulty settings or a new game plus, but overall Mario RPG holds its own against most similar RPGs to this day. It is a fun game for fans of the Mario series and one of the best starter RPGs you could play. With that said, I have to give this game an 8 stars out of 10. Thank you for watching my review of Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars. This review was intended to come out earlier, but once again, life has slowed down my editing. The plan is to have a new review the first Monday of the month, and with the gameplay for that review being posted throughout the month. But Kronos, what if a month has 2 games in it and you want to review them both? That is a great question. The overall format is going to be once a month with gameplay through the month. However, I'm not opposed to doing multiple reviews in a single month. So be on the lookout, because there are some games coming up in the coming months that I definitely want to review and play, and I'm working on my next retro review with something very close to my heart. But what could it be? But until then, I'm gonna have to say. So yeah, if you enjoyed my review, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff to do with the YouTube video. I'm Kronos, and until next time, you have yourself a great day.